freaking sending me stupid big box that blocks the doorway, and what the heck is even in this thing? Oh. Ooh. Ooh. Huh. Well. All right then.
Let's rock.
Oh, Jesus! Jesus! I killed you. Killed you. You spent a lot of time dead. Oh. PJ, kill me!
Oh, I finished in 4th? Okay, cool.
Oh, I smoked you guys. I guess Curator had a better KDR than me, but... I was in 9th.
Well, that was a lot of fun. You may be thoroughly confused if you have no idea what Recoil is, and couldn't put 2 and 2 together by watching the video, and for some reason still wound up this far into the actual video itself. But if you don't know, let me give you a quick refresher. Recoil is kind of an augmented reality laser tag game that syncs up to your smartphone that allows you to shoot people in augmented reality using your phone, and it has, like, you know, teams and game modes and stuff like that, and then gameplay features like airstrikes and ammo pickups and all sorts of crazy radar. It's really freaking cool, and I've had, you know, some time to spend with it. Actually, quite a bit of time, and quite a few updates to the game and stuff like that, and overall my impressions are still extremely high. Recoil is definitely really cool. I know some people don't like the idea of having to use a phone, but since everybody freaking has a phone at this point, just about everybody has a smartphone. At our war, there was only one person who didn't have a smartphone. It's just a lot of fun. You don't even really have to have service on your phone. You just have to have the app downloaded, and then, you know, connect to the thing and do all your stuff, and you're good to go, and it's a lot of freaking fun. My favorite thing about the game is, of course, the fact that when you plug headphones into this, it's got amazing sound design. So when somebody shoots at you but they don't hit you, you will hear the bullets whiz past you and pop and all that kind of stuff, and explosions in the distance will ring out. You can hear the direction airstrikes are coming from. It's really freaking cool, and that is its strongest asset, bar none. Its weakest asset, of course, is the fact that it uses a phone, so even though it connects to a Wi-Fi hub and all that stuff, there's still some minor issues with, I guess you would call it some kind of syncing issue, where sometimes magically the phone will think the hub has moved, and then your spawn point will shift a little bit. It has happened a couple of times, not every time, but a couple of times. But overall, it's a really freaking cool game, and this kind of stuff is ironed out through various updates that happen to the app, because of course it's an app on your phone. And speaking of which, just days before I uploaded this video, they released a Capture the Flag game mode. I don't have any idea how it works, because I don't really have anybody to play with at the moment, but yeah. And speaking of which, you might have noticed there were some things in that game that weren't in my initial review, and that's because they have extra stuff in the whole Recoil line that I didn't get my hands on until recently. And that is, well, of course, we've got the standard pistol right here, which this is just the pistol itself. It's kind of like an expansion pack if you wanted to have another person play. It does require the original, get the glare off, that does require the starter pack, which includes 2 pistols and the Wi-Fi hub. And then we've got the things we're really interested in, which is the frag grenade and the SR-12 Rogue, which is the rifle, which is really freaking cool looking. Absolutely awesome. Let's get these things open, because these are really worth seeing. So in the box, you get the stock detached with a battery cover for said stock. You get your cell phone mount, and you get your tag. This usually goes on like your hat or the back of your collar to kind of give you a 360-degree taggable field. You could cheat and not use this, but it wouldn't be fun for anybody if you did that. And yeah, this prevents you from like standing behind a car and then having your blaster, because your blaster obviously has marks on it where it can get tagged, down below the car and being invincible. This will fix that to a degree. It works pretty well, honestly. So yeah, that's a thing. Weirdly enough, it does take 6 AA batteries, while the pistol only required 4 and the Wi-Fi hub required 4, but you will definitely need a lot of batteries to get a game of Recoil running. This is a one-way process, and it looks like, yep, it's gonna go in just like this. Oh gosh. There we go. And technically it should be ready to rock now. And here it is fully assembled. It is a little hard to get in frame here, but it is a very nice length. It's meant to be kind of a bullpup. I believe this is supposed to be like a magazine well right there, even though you reload again by tapping the bottom of that. But you put your batteries in, they go in back here, you snap this on, you put your phone holder on, you put your phone in the phone holder, and even without having any kind of phone in there, it still works as a toy. So as you can see, the rate of fire is a little slow on this one. and it was really picky with batteries when it first turned on. I thought it was broken, and I swapped the batteries, and it got a little bit better on me, and then eventually started working flawlessly. So it might have been a little gummy for some reason with the whole recoil piston action. But yeah, it does vibrate recoil a little bit harder than like a Nerf Stampede unless you modify it, but that's the kind of recoil you're going with. But of course, there's no projectiles out of this thing, just lasers. And of course, the sensors all over the blaster, these little black dots, are what actually register you getting hit. It is overall a very, very comfortable and cool looking blaster. This is, if you're a fan of like Titanfall or Destiny, you could paint one of these up or just leave it as is and you'd have a cool little cosmetic prop that does something mechanical. I mean, you could even probably 3D print stuff and make it look more like a weapon from either of those games. Amusingly enough, it's almost fully ambidextrous except for the button for turning the thing on is only on one side. And that might be a bigger deal because if you're holding it left-handed, then you'd have to take your hand off to turn it on. But again, you'd only really do that once. The button for communication is only on one side as well, but as you can see, left-handed, not a big deal. It's right there. This does activate voice comms to talk to your team or talk trash to your friends, so that's pretty cool. We'll go through the phone and or headphones. And it does have a GoPro mount up here. Why? I don't know. It doesn't really work stupidly well, but it is a thing that they added. It doesn't detract, and they may add some kind of other attachment that will go there in the future that will use a GoPro similar mount. Who knows? And it does have your standard True Glow kind of looking sights on the top of it, which are completely adjustable if you chose. Really cool. It's not meant to be something that you need to get if you already have one of the RK-45 Spitfires. The SR-12 Rogue is just something you can get if you want to have something different, or if you're just, you're an enthusiast, you gotta have everything. And honestly, just the look and feel of the blaster is very, very good. It feels solid just like the other ones. It should be able to take a beating, although I'm not gonna do any kind of durability tests on these things because they're quite expensive. Hold that thought. I was getting a picture for this exact moment where I put up how expensive it is on the screen, but it turns out the prices are far better on Amazon than they've ever been for Recoil. This thing isn't that old, but the prices are a heck of a lot better now. I mean, the starter set for like 4 people is like, what, 130 bucks? That's an incredible deal compared to how it used to be for just 2 people. If you are interested in Recoil at all, now would be the time to get into it. They're a wee bit expensive. The cheapest thing in the line is this. Now this is also very interesting because this is something you can have with you if you don't want to use just the rifle or the pistol. This is its entirely own thing in the form of a grenade. Now, the way we use this at the game is that we just had one on the field and whoever picked it up got to use it. But of course you could carry it with you if you wanted to. I don't think there's any reason not to. I will take a look at the instructions. So reading through the instructions, you can of course use this without any kind of attaching it to the game or anything like that. It has a 10-second timer, so you could cook it if you wanted to. And the LED will again go solid when it's ready for detonation. So once that thing goes solid, you can count down to 5 or 6, then throw it and have it explode and kill someone. Of course, in the game, not in real life. And it's powered by one AAA battery, which is a bit annoying because everything else takes AA's. Now we're throwing AAA's into the mix. However, I just read on this that, if you use this without assigning it to the game through the menu, as in you take this as part of your loadout, this will, just count as an anonymous kill. It won't actually give anybody the kill. It basically just eliminates a player. Not sure how I feel about that, but it kind of makes sense. How exactly would they track this without you actually giving it to yourself in the game? Unless it was like a power-up in the actual game. I don't even know. I guess that makes sense to me, how they wouldn't be able to track something like that. So technically you can have somebody running around who doesn't even have a phone that just has the grenade. That would be very, very funny to have somebody who just runs around with a grenade and just kills everybody and doesn't get any credit for it. You could totally do that, and these things are relatively cheap. I believe they're like 15 bucks. And honestly, very, very solid rubber. It's meant to be thrown. It should work pretty good. But again, 15 bucks for this. That's it. That's all you're getting. Not even like a 2 or 3 pack, it's just one of them. I think this would benefit if it came with like a 2 pack or a 3 pack for a little bit more money as opposed to just this thing. Now, Skyrocket didn't pay me for this review. They sent me the stuff and wanted me to do a video on it, but my opinions are still completely my own. So, what do I think about Recoil in a nutshell? I like it a lot. I think it has a bright future. If they fix a couple of the bugs that are existing inside of the whole Wi-Fi thing with it sometimes moving spawns and stuff like that, there's a lot of fun there. And if they do support the app and update it, like I said, I'd love to see a Battle Royale style mode come out for this thing. There's a lot of fun to have there. I think they might be limited by the design that they chose here with like the Bluetooth thing. I honestly think it would have been better to have like a Bluetooth dongle or something that acts as the player and then have a faster system to pair all these blasters and weapons together and stuff like that. I'm not an engineer, so I don't know how hard, or somebody out there is going to be screaming, that's impossible, or somebody will say, that's really easy, that's a good idea. I have no idea. I would assume they would have thought of something like that, but as long as they support the ecosystem, they come out with more products, they figure out ways to make things a little bit cheaper, because these things are ludicrously expensive, and that's basically it. I honestly think the core system is a far and beyond anything else I've ever really played with when it comes to laser tag, and that even includes like the buildings where you have to put on a vest and a helmet and they give you a blaster. I've done that a couple of times at different places, and I never really had fun doing that. This one, a lot more fun, a lot more atmospheric with the headphones and everything, and the voice chat and all that kind of stuff. There's a lot of fun to be had with Recoil. The downsides, again, the price, and the fact that the Achilles heel of this entire system is that you have to use your phone. You have to have batteries for these things. This battery dies, nothing you can do. This battery dies, nothing really you can do. You have to do something about it. To fix every problem, all you would need to do is have some kind of rechargeable battery pack in here, lithium ion, something like that. I assume there's a reason beyond cost why they didn't do that, but if they have a rechargeable battery pack in here that I can plug into my phone using a little cable or something like that, since I'm gonna have the phone here anyway, why not just have like a little connector or something that I can plug into my phone? Maybe have it like the magnetic chargers where you just pull off one end and put on the other so it can work with a variety of different phones. That would help immensely, because after about an hour of play, nobody has any charge left on their phone to be able to play anymore. And not only do you have blasters that their AA batteries are starting to go dead, because of course they're doing a lot more than... Yeah, that's a lot of action. That will drain the batteries rather quickly, but then you have phones that are dying. It kind of puts a hamper on actually playing the game, which is my biggest complaint with this. I think that's something they need to address in the future, but it is a very big, glaring issue that kind of kills on the fun of getting super into this thing. I mean, if you're gonna play with friends and stuff like that, could you imagine having 6 people over, 6 people with their phones, you play for an hour, maybe 2 hours, everybody's phone is dead, everybody has to charge their phone, especially if it's like you need it to call your parents, you need it to freaking navigate home with GPS and stuff like that. I mean, that is a big, big issue. I know you can definitely rectify that by just having independent chargers, which other people can have, but since it's required for the game, I feel like that's a big necessity. That is my biggest gripe, though. I think these things are absolutely freaking awesome. Let me know what you think about Recoil down in the comment section below, and of course, if you want to see more Recoil gameplay, maybe with some of the nerfers that I have available around here, again, well, it'd be a lot of fun, so if you request that, maybe they would see that and they would want to do more. But I'm Walcom S7's Hands. Thank you very much for watching this video, and of course, I hope to see you in an entirely different one.